Hello, Internet! I'm Alex the Purple Artifice, and welcome to Buddy Reads, where I read a small selection of a book and review it for you. Today we are covering chapters 90 through 98 of The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. I hope you read up to that point yourself, because I do not want to ruin anything for you. Now, yesterday, I left you on a bit of a cliffhanger, because I'm a devilish little bastard like that. But now, we get to resolve it. We have Martin, Tempe, and Kvothe. They are going to inspect the dead bodies that Tempe had killed when he was attacked. They look them over. Tempe says to Kvothe, don't touch the bodies, don't disturb the bodies. And Kvothe is like, I'm just going to look them over. I need to understand these people to get a better grasp of what we're working with. And Tempe says, you should ask me first. And so Kvothe is like, can I locate your bodies? And he's like, yes, you may. And so Kvothe looks at the bodies while Martin is trying to find the trail. They eventually find the trail. Martin goes off first. Tempe and Kvothe follow him, slowly behind, tracking his footprints as he leaves obvious markers for them. And while they are following him, they realize that they themselves are being followed. They are kind of hiding in the bushes, hiding behind rocks, trying to figure out who is following them, thinking that it's the attackers that are following them. The suspects are getting closer and closer and closer. Tempe and Kvothe are like hiding behind rocks with their weapons at the ready, and they're just about ready to just kind of like pounce out and kill him. And when they jump, it's Deaden. It's Deaden and Hepe. And they completely ignored Kvothe's ruling about staying at the camp. They followed them. And in a surprising move, Hepe actually agrees with Deaden, where Deaden says, we should just take them down now. We should just finish this tonight. I am done being in the woods. I just want to go home to a warm bed. And it just kind of escalates from there. Kvothe is like, fine, but you have to do exactly as I said. You have to do everything that I tell you. Do you understand this? And there's this like tense moment where Kvothe actually forces him to swear to his name that he will do that. It's kind of like, I would have just taken the guy at his word, but I understand where Kvothe is coming from, how he doesn't trust him. Kvothe has to rearrange the walking pattern, and it's Martin that goes out first for 5 minutes, and then Kvothe and Tempe follow him 5 minutes behind, and then 10 minutes after Kvothe and Tempe, it's Deaden and Hepe, and they walk up to the edge of the camp. It's pitch black because it's middle of the night, and this thunderstorm is brewing, and the lightning is just giving them flashes of what they're supposed to see. Kvothe looks up and he sees Martin with a bow, and he sees Martin kill a sentry at the edge of the camp. Then they're like, okay, getting really, really close to the camp now. We have to be very, very careful. He sends Martin back to go look for Deaden and Hepe. Deaden and Hepe aren't behind him anymore. Deaden and Hepe are lost. Kvothe and Tempe are like, well, crap. And Martin's like, what do we do? What do we do? What are you gonna do? And it's like one of these like really stressful moments for Kvothe where he's like, I'm the leader, I'm supposed to know what to do, and I don't know what to do. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And Deaden and Hepe scream on the other side of the camp. Martin gets even more frantic. He's like, what are you gonna do? Kvothe is like, and then he grabs one of the dead sentry, and he does a sympathy spell on the dead sentry. As he's carving into the dead sentry, the bandits at the camp are slowly dying off one by one as he stabs the kidneys and one guy goes down, stabs the other kidney and the other guy goes down, stabs the guy in the throat and the other guy starts bleeding from the neck, and stabs the guy in the eye and the other guy starts screaming because he's blinded, slits the guy's Achilles tendon and the other guy falls down, slips the guy's other knee and the other guy falls down, and everyone's crumbling while Kvothe is just digging into this dead body. It gets to this point where Martin is looking over the camp. Kvothe is just drained because of all the sympathy magic. He is just drained of energy, and he cuts his arm and uses the blood to sympathize the string with all of the other bowstrings of the bandits at the camp, and he snaps that, and every time he uses magic he just gets a little bit more drained, and he keeps on using it because it's the only way that they're going to take down all of these bandits at once. And then he is so drained that he just kind of almost passes out in the woods, and the rain is falling down on him, and it's just so cold. He's not shivering, and he knows that means he's hypothermic and he's going to die. He looks over at Martin and he says, shoot the tree! with your arrow. And Martin's like, what? And he says, shoot the tree. And Martin's like, I don't get it. And he's like, shoot the fucking tree. And Martin's like, okay. And he shoots an arrow into the tree while Kvothe has like all of his energy inside of his body, and he concentrates on that arrow. There's a white flash. Nothing. Then we have a very, very short chapter where it's just Kvothe like groggily, dreamily, almost barely in and out of consciousness. He can hear Martin talking to the others, and he's like, don't make him mad. Don't make him angry. I saw what he did. Did you see all that lightning? That was all him. That was insane. Kvothe is just kind of like, what's going on? And then Martin says, all of that lightning, that large group of lightning that just rained down on all those bandits, that was him. Do not piss him off. Kvothe is just kind of like, I did it. Huh. And then he passes out again. It takes a couple days for Kvothe to wake back up. Once he finally does, the crew starts cleaning up the dead bodies of the bandits. And there's too many of them to dig an individual grave for every single one, and they don't want to dig a mass grave. So they basically have a giant bonfire with all of the bodies in the middle. Gruesome, but that's what happens. It's also at this point that everyone is super uneasy around Kvothe. They realize now that Kvothe has real power, and so everyone is just like tiptoeing around him, doing their best not to set him off. The crew rest at the bandits' camp for a while, because it's actually a really nice resting spot. There's a river flowing through it, there's plenty of mountainside, so they're all covered by everything, and while they're resting, Kvothe starts playing on his lute again, and he's just so happy to be playing on his lute. They're looking through all of the bandits' supplies, and they're noticing that there's a lot of weapons here. There's a lot of good stuff here. And so they start pilfering from the weapon supply, and they come across a chest. And they eventually get the chest open, and they find it is full of royals. Think of it like it was full of $100 bills. Everyone's like, wow. Kvothe says, why don't we all take one? And everyone's like, are you insane? You want to steal from the mayor? He's like, it's not really stealing. We were hired to track down the bandits. We weren't hired to kill them. We weren't hired to destroy their camp. We weren't hired to collect anything. This is just our extra bonus. It's at this point that Deaden kind of claps him on the back and he's like, you're okay, Kvothe. You're giving me money. Yay! After he's done distributing the money, you realize that he kept 3 of the coins for himself. Kvothe is looking over this display of weapons that the bandits left over. Tempe sees him, and Kvothe is trying to pick a sword. It's at this time that Tempe realizes that Kvothe doesn't exactly know how to use a sword, and he's a little disappointed because in his culture, using a sword is as common as using a fork or a spoon. Kvothe is like, will you teach me? And Tempe is like, will you teach me that? And Kvothe follows his finger and looks over and sees his lute. And Kvothe is like, I've never done that before. I would love to. After they have rested up, Tempe has regained enough energy in her leg where she was shot during the battle that she can walk again. The crew leave the camp with high spirits. And they're walking through this forest, and they get to this point where they're like, we should just walk straight this way, we'll hit a road or we'll hit a town eventually. And everyone's like, okay. And they start walking, and they start hearing singing. And they're like, singing means people. People means civilization. Civilization means town. And so they start following the singing, and it's kind of garbled with the river that's flowing by and the rain that's falling down, but they're still following the singing. And they get really, really close, and they're really, really excited because they want to be back in civilization. They want to sleep on a real bed. And they, like, part these leaves, and they find a Fellorian. Now, a Fellorian is a siren that Deaden had told the story about. They find the Fellorian. Martin is scared crapless. Tempe just doesn't know how to handle the situation. And Deaden's like, oh yeah. Tempe is just kind of like, okay, we gotta get out of here. Kvothe looks at it and he's like, I feel drawn to it. And the Fellorian starts singing, and Kvothe is like, it would be horrible for me to miss this opportunity. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? I have to take this opportunity. And you're like, what are you doing? And Kvothe says, I need to sing. And he like grabs onto his lute and he starts walking towards the Fellorian, and Martin's like, what are you doing? You're an idiot, get back here. Kvothe is like, I'll see you all in 3 days. And he's like getting closer and closer, and Deaden's like, oh hell, if he's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it too. And Kvothe just hears this like thud, and he looks back and he sees that Hepe has tackled him to the ground. And just like, of all the things that you are supposed to run away from, Kvothe runs head first into, like he's going to be okay. And you know he's going to be okay. Because it's not like, you know, we're going to have another interlude and it's going to be like, and that's when I died. I'm sorry, what? I'm a ghost. Woo! Yeah, that's not going to happen. So he gets closer and closer to Fellorian, and everyone else is running away, and he's like, I'll see you in 3 days. He's like, I'm falling for you. Kvothe actually starts describing the Fellorian, and he starts using the same language that Deaden did. And it was really disturbing to me for that chapter. I was just like, okay, I get it. She's beautiful. Move on. And then he starts playing his lute for her. And she's like, this is amazing. You are fantastic. You will be mine forever. It's just like, oh, God. Then Kvothe starts having sassy times. Let's put it that way. Let's go Bravest Warriors and just call it sassy times with the Fellorian. He doesn't actually quite do the deed, but as he's kissing her and making out with her, he starts remembering being back in the town that he was when he was younger, where he had to just endure being attacked. And Kvothe starts getting angry. It's at this moment that Kvothe overpowers the Fellorian, because of course Kvothe does that. And he gets her in a position where he's like, I could kill her right now. He doesn't, because he's like, oh, a world with a Fellorian is better than a world without a Fellorian. And it's just kind of like, Kvothe realizes that he has to get away from the Fellorian. He realizes that the men weren't killed by sex. They were killed, driven mad, because they loved her so much and she booted them out of her little cave. And Kvothe starts singing to her again, and he's like, I would love to sing a song for you. And she's like, what? And he's like, I'd love to sing a song for you. And he sings a song about how he was a virgin and she was his first, and how it was just kind of nice. And the Fellorian's like, wait, you're not a virgin. You lied to me, sir. And Kvothe's like, no, I am. No. Nice? What do you mean nice? Who uses nice when they're talking about sex? How dare you say I was just nice? And Kvothe's like, I am so sorry. I have nothing else to base my experience on. You might have been spectacular, but since you were my first, I only thought of it as nice. Here's what I propose. I would love to finish writing this song for you, but alas, I need to have sex with other women. Let me go, and I'll finish the song and come back and sing it for you. And the Fellorian's like, really? And I'm like, really? And the Fellorian says, you'll really come back to me? And it's just like, oh, God. Kvothe's like, of course I will. So she sends him off to finish the song and come back to her at a later time. And that's pretty much where the section ends. And dear God, the Fellorian bits just irritate the crap out of me. First, Kvothe starts being as bad as Deaden when he is describing her, and that is just blah. And then the whole part where he overpowers her, because of course it's just Kvothe, and of course he's going to overpower her, because he's a overpowered character. And then he's able to just get away where other men could not. Really? Like, all of the men that she had driven crazy, all of the men that she had killed or whatever, never thought to do that? That's just insane to me. What it really reminds me of is the Bruce Campbell book, Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way, where it starts off like a biography. Like, he's just telling tales of being Bruce Campbell at a movie set. And he just slowly ramps up the ridiculousness. So it starts out feeling real. And then slowly it becomes just insane and ridiculous. This is the point where it became insane and ridiculous for me. This is the point where I can no longer trust Kvothe. And that irritates me, because Kvothe is the narrator of the story. Kvothe is the only person telling the story, and this is the point where I'm just kind of like, I don't want to believe you anymore. That sucks. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you like this video specifically, go ahead and click the like button. And go ahead and leave a comment letting me know when you ran into a narrator in a story that you just could not trust anymore. Because I think my trust is broken with the both right now. I've been Elliot the Purple Haired Doofus. This has been Buddy Reads, reminding you to watch your pajama radius. And I will see you all in the next section of Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. Toodles!